Hello lovely people and welcome to my channel. It's Hila here, Saturday Night Stitch, and thank you so much for tuning in. Today it's the Burda April browse through. I can't believe that we're already in the 4th month of 2021. So we're just going to dive straight into it. So we've got a lot of yellow here to herald the coming of spring, which is quite a nice little touch. So for those of you that may not be familiar, this is the German issue, so it might have a different cover to what you have, because Burda does different covers for the different geographical regions. Okay, so here we go. I was quite picked, my interest was quite piqued by the line drawings. They did look reasonably decent. And there's some Easter arts here. I am going to be doing this with my kids. We're doing a lot of Easter stuff with the kiddies. And I thought that this was quite nice, a little tutorial on making these table napkins, which you can also use for making handkerchiefs as well, if you're so pleased. And this one was pretty cool. As you know, I like my floral headbands and I like flowers. I buy them off of AliExpress, and to be honest with you, I hadn't actually considered making my own, but I like the idea of using the fabric scraps to actually make some floral headbands that match with the dress that I have made. So I was like, that's a really great inspiration thing, and I like it when a magazine does that, when it gives me some inspiration. Okay, so Burda started off really strong this month with this blazer that has some tie detail at the sleeve, and I think that this is going to be a popular one. This definitely got a lot of people talking in the previews because, you know, it's a blazer, it's nice and oversized. You make it in linen or in seersucker or a lightweight fabric, and boom, you've got something that you can just throw on during the slightly warmer months. This one is a 3-dot pattern, which does make it a little bit more complex because you've got the vent detail over there, and you've got a welt pocket, and you have a princess seam going into a welt pocket, which can be quite a challenging thing to sew up, and you really do have to take your time with it. And it's just got a single button, and I just think that it is so classy. Now, obviously, because of the ties here, you can't really make this with a thick weight fabric, so you couldn't make this with a jacquard, for instance, because those ties, they would just look clunky and ordinary. And I think that the linen stripe fabric that they used is just perfect for this, and I think that linens would work. Seersucker would also work for this jacket. So I thought that this was a nice, good start for Burda. And then the next one, I love this little top, guys. It's a off-shoulder top here, because, you know, I like showing off my shoulders. You know, it's like my favorite part of my body, so I love off-shoulder tops. And that's it. It's just a simple off-shoulder top with raglan sleeve, some shaping at the waist there, and then just a hem. And you make this in your cotton jersey. This could be a summer staple. Very, very nice. I was very happy to see that. And then we have a dress. Our first dress entry is the petite size dress, which, despite the busy print that they have used, is full of fantastic details if you wanted to challenge yourself. And appropriately, it is a 3-dot pattern, which means that it is quite challenging. But we do have a V neckline with a center front seam here, and then we've got a banded waist, but it's not all the way round. It goes sort of like from about a third of the way through. And I think that this does create a very nice silhouette. The sleeve has got a pleat at the shoulder point here, just to give the sleeve a little bit more drama, which it doesn't quite come through with the fabric choice that they have made. But do go check out the Burda Russia forum, because I'm pretty sure that that community over there will really show this up in its finest detail. The other option that you can, of course, have is to put in piping just to show up those seam lines if you wanted to, or actually using a contrasting fabric. So I think that this has got quite a lot of potential. Or you could do a lace overlay on these parts here. Lovely. And it's got a side zipper, definitely fitted at the waist. I thought that this was a good entry with the dresses, and I'm a big fan of dresses. And then we've got a really lovely demure shawl collar blouse with yoke and some gathering. So I think that the shaping is in the gathering here, but there is just something so elegantly beautiful and lovely about the blue and white stripe that they have used. This would be a relatively simple top to make, apart from the shawl collar might be the one that might be a bit challenging, but if you find yourself a good tutorial online, they are not as difficult as all that. And once you do a shawl collar for the first time, a light goes on and you're just like, oh, that's how you do it. And then, you know, it is quite easy. So I quite liked this. And I like the fabric that they have used. You could make it in a cotton sateen. You could make this in a linen. You could make it in a cotton lawn. And it would just be a lovely, elegant top that you could wear with the skirt or styled with the culottes as they've done here. So I was kind of like, okay, I quite liked that. And then we have a skirt, a pencil skirt, right, which has got a chevron here. It's like an arrow here pointing to, I don't know what it's pointing to, but it's pointing to something, but it's just chevron. And I quite liked it until I saw the instructions for this. I don't know why, but for some reason, I actually thought that maybe this is just a trim that they added on the top, but it isn't. You actually have to cut out this as a pattern piece, and then you have to sew it, and then you have to line it up here. So it requires, number one, a steady hand. Number two, somebody who's very precise, methodical, and impeccable with their lining up of things, kind of like quilters, because you also have a zipper here. So I was a bit like, eek, when I realized that it's actually pattern pieces. Never mind the fact that, you know, if you're cutting something on the bias grain like that, you've got the issue of stretching out. Although you could, if you did block fusing, it might be doable. But yeah, so I'm a bit hesitant to try this because I just be worried about trying to match these up over here and to match these up on the sides as well. Be interesting to see what it looks like on the side, even though on the pictures they haven't shown it to us. So this was a little bit of a wow, but then it was like a once I found out the deets for it. So I was like, yeah, never mind, there's more skirts. If one skirt doesn't work for you, move on to the next one. And then this one, I liked this skirt. It is simple. It's got box pleats to give it the volume, but it just reminds me of the skirts that Audrey Hepburn wore in Roman Holiday. I'll just show you what I mean. So I just quickly grabbed this book here, but see, that's to me sort of like the quintessential Audrey Hepburn in Roman Holiday look. And I feel like this skirt kind of embodies that, and especially with the thick waistband that they have used. So I was kind of like, that's really nice. And all you have to do with this particular style, it's all about the fabric. Get a fabric that you want to shine, a fabric that you just want to make a statement with, and then just wear it with a simple top and a side saddle bag. And I love how they've interpreted this, and yeah, I really like that. But it's so simple. You probably don't even need a pattern to do this because it's just box pleats and pockets. They've added pockets, which is good because pockets are everything. So I quite liked this one. And then over here, number 119 is a lovely cowl neck top, which has been made in like a silk print fabric, and you could easily make this in just a satin, a polyester satin, because you want that drape here to create that liquid metal look. And the sleeves are tulip sleeves because they've got some pleating over here, which if you look on the line drawing, it's supposed to give it a bit more poofiness, but because of the lightweight fabric, it doesn't translate quite as well. But I thought that this was cute, and it's just, it doesn't have any buttons or zippers, so it should be a pretty quick top to sew up. And I think this would be a nice dressier type top. Wear it with your pencil skirt or with your jeans and some heels and stilettos, and you know, you've got something that's smart enough for like cocktails and evening drinks, which we can begin to think about now as we hopefully move out of lockdown. And then these trousers, these trousers, these amazing looking trousers, these caught my eye because I love the contoured waistband. So contoured waistbands, I find them to be so comfortable. They just add a certain, I don't know, they add a certain elegance to it. I mean, they take longer to make up, obviously, than your straight waistband, but they do add a certain elegance. And then the pockets have got this turn up flap, which looks like it's been stitched down so that it doesn't kind of like just flap around. And they've used a really beautiful stretch twill fabric. Fantastic, fantastic execution. Now, I know technically speaking, high-waisted trousers are not supposed to suit my body type, but I don't care. I love that. It's not often that I quite like trousers. As you know, I prefer more dresses and skirts than I do trousers in my, in my life. But these trousers, they took me, they caught my heart and they made it flatter and fly. So I think that they deserve to be worn regardless of what fashionistas say. And then we've got a red lipstick article here, which I love because I love red lipstick. I love red lipstick. I was like, nice. Okay, so we move on to kind of like the slightly nautical, sporty style stage. And we've got this very interesting looking jacket, which has got a lot of interesting detail. We have a stand collar, raglan sleeves, and then there's some gathering here to give it more volume. We've got a partial sleeve here, and then we've got another gathered sleeve that's created a tulip effect at the base here, which I'm not too sure how I feel about that, because I like to be able to pull up my jacket. So I kind of feel like I would be happier if I would add maybe even like a knit cuffing, that ribbing cuffing. So for me, this might work a lot better. Okay, but I'm just nitpicking here. It is a really great design, I think. And then you've got the pockets over here on the seam and drawstring, which means that, it's got versatility. And I think that this is quite nice. I was surprised at how each time I was doing the browse through, and I've had a lot of time to browse through this whilst I was laid up in bed, I was quite surprised at how this kept on making me stop and come back to it. And I think that's always a good sign when, you kind of are thinking, what is it? And there's something about a design that is catching your eye. So I was like, okay, this is quite interesting. But yeah, as I said, if I were to make this, I'd definitely be putting a cuff in just so that I can do this. That's very important for me. But I thought that was quite lovely. And then we have over here in the orange colorway, we've got that off-shoulder top, but this time they've added some ruching at the side, which just gives it a little bit of a vavavoomness. And I think when you add ruching, you kind of enhance the illusion of curves, which, is something that I like in dresses. I've made I think I have about four things that I have made that have ruching on the side, and I quite like it. But the trick with ruching is to get the right sort of jersey fabric for it. So the more stable jersey fabrics like your ponte, it doesn't do really well with ruching because it's just too thick. Your your slinky jerseys, those are perfect for doing anything that requires ruching, or your crepe jerseys. So you basically want your four-way stretch, the jersey that stretches this way and that way. I never know whether that's four-way or two-way stretch. So it goes, when you pull it across like that, it will stretch, and when you pull it up and down like that, it will stretch. I find that does the most graceful ruching ever. So top tip there for you. I should do an episode where I show my ruched garments. Okay, and then we have the trousers again showing up in an impossible white. I don't know how anybody can keep this clean or how you can wear it more than one time, but how elegant is it? And the way that they have just paired it and everything, stunning. Bravo. I love this. Love it. Okay, I wouldn't make it, but I love it. I can look at it and appreciate it and, think about it. And then we come back to that skirt again that we talked about before with the chevrons, with the beautiful chevrons that you actually have to cut out and sew up. And let's see, they made it a 2-star. I have to say I disagree. I think that this should be a 3-star because the level of patience and skill that you need to make these butts up correctly, it's up there. But I do like the flare silhouette style, the A-line style. That's one of my favorite skirt silhouettes, the A-line style. It's kind of like, oh, this is really, really lovely. Too bad I'm not going to make it. I thought the color combination was quite nice, the blue, silver, and the white. So as you can see, so I felt like this has some good designs. Okay, and then there's this dress here, number 104. This is a Marmite dress. Now, Marmite is one of those things in the United Kingdom. It's a yeast extract, which you either love or you hate. And I think that this is one of those. And I think if you make it in the right sort of fabric, in a fabric that you love actually, then you would kind of like, I love it. But if you made it in a fabric that you don't like, you'd just be like, why did I waste my time making this? But it does look super comfortable. I think I'm not a big fan of the fabric that they use here. I feel like it is too thick and chunky for this particular style because it is an oversized style, and in my opinion, if you're going to go for an oversized style that is suitable for spring or summer, it's better to go with lighter weight fabric because then you get the movement, the flow, because in my opinion it's kind of like, you know, if you're going to make a dress that is oversized that you can wear in spring and summer, then you have to counter the loose fit with the fabric being able to move around you. So I think that that's the main problem that I have with it. But it has a belt, and belts can fix a lot of issues. You know, if anything looks too oversized, you just tie it up with a belt and then it just looks a little bit très chic. But yeah, I'm keen to see what people are going to make with this one. It's an easy pattern because it is very, very simple to make. And those tend to do really very well. And then over here, we've got the tall pattern that's been realized in a black cotton sateen fabric here. So you can't really see the details, but there's 2 drawstrings to add shaping at the waist. And it's an oversized t-shirt, basically, with a boat neckline, drop shoulders, short sleeves, and then it's got vents at the side. So standard fare. And we have a very preppy style t-shirt dress over here, which I think it is quite interesting. So, so the thing with this type of dress, you have to use what's called piqué fabric. And that's like a jersey, but it doesn't have as much stretch as a normal jersey. And it's got like some texture, some texturing on it. And that's how you can make it really work. I guess in a pinch, you could do it with Ponte, but I think you'd have to work quite hard to get the collar going. But it is cute. I have to say, I'm not a big fan of the colors that they have chosen. If they'd gone with more marine colors, I think that it would have been more popping. But, you know, to each their own. I'm keen to see whether this is going to get made a lot. And then we have a simple oversized shirt, super simple V-neck line over here, and it's clearly designed to be a layering piece. And you know, you can't go wrong with a layering piece. Ponte, French terry, sweater knit fabrics, and you could have fun by putting a motif on there. Okay, and then we have, oh, my issue came with an inspiration, Bernina inspiration thing, which I thought, oh, that was quite cute, but we'll put that to the side. And then we have a tutorial here on, you know how sometimes you just think that your handbag is too big, and then you think that, oh, a clutch is too big for you, and then you look at your watch, and then you think, what if my watch was actually a pocket? And then you make a pocket that's like a wristwatch. Boom. Never have I ever thought that, guys. I was just kidding about that. I mean, it's a very interesting, unique concept. And you know what? I will always applaud trying something different. I will always applaud that because it's too easy to just stick into things. But this to me is a very funny and yeah, interesting concept. I'm still racking my brains to think how I would use this, what I would use it for, and how practical it would be. And yeah, if you have any ideas, could you please let me know in the comments box down below if there are any situations where you were just like, oh man, this is exactly the thing that I needed. This is what was missing in my life. I'd love that. But props for trying something different and something new. So the featured sewing lesson is the skirt, the chevron skirt. And as you can see here, you can see bias strip fabrics. They give me goosebumps, Sophia. Yeah, because it's the matching up. It looks nice if you can get it to point up really nicely, but whoo-wee, girls had problems with that. Okay, and then we've got a kids section that's ranging 74 to 98. So my kids have just passed this, but we've got some shorts, a pair of simple shorts, elasticated waist and pockets. And then we've got some rompers, which have got a crossover thing over here. And yeah, I'm not a big fan of these. You know, I always find that they're quite impractical for kids, especially if you're potty training them as well. Simple top, this one gets a big tick from me. I like this. This is something that I would make because it's just one sleeve. There isn't anything else. So I would just lengthen this to make this a dress for the girls, or just add, you know, sort of like a gathered panel at the bottom to make a dress. So I think that this is good for kids. And then we've got a simple bomber jacket made in a quilted thingy. And yeah, it's a reasonably decent kids section. And then we come back to the go green feature, kind of like, you know, yay, spring is coming. Let's be optimistic. The world hopefully is coming out of lockdown. And I quite liked that. And we have that dress again. So I didn't find this dress too objectionable in this fabric. And I think that this fabric suits it more than the first fabric that they used. So certainly it's got more drape. So it's not kind of like just jarringly sticking out. And I thought that this was lovely. I feel like this made it more palatable for my own personal aesthetic. And then we have this dress here. This dress, I was very, very curious about it. I couldn't make up my mind about it during the preview. But then when I saw the pictures, I was like, oh, okay. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Giselle maxi dress, except for it doesn't have the fitting at the waist. So in principle, I like it, but practically, I do like for my things to have the option for waist definition. So I would probably be adding a belt, right? Just so that I can make it a little bit more fitted there. Or another option would be just adding an elastic over here on this seam, just so that it goes in just a little bit for me. But I think that they used a really lovely fabric to realize this vision. When I was looking at the instructions, because yes, I do check out the instructions. They do sometimes decide for me whether I'm going to make something or not. Sometimes I just can't be asked to do something super complex. Sometimes I want to do things that are a little bit simpler. But the buttons here, you have to use button loops. And I was just like, okay, if you say so. But you clearly have the option of using buttonholes. And I do feel like you could completely eliminate the buttons altogether, because this is a V-neck line. And this looks to me like something that you could easily pull over your head. But I like the sleeves and I like the elasticated cuffs. Plus, you make it maxi. You got me. Maxi and gathered panels. I'm there. I'm there for that party. And then we've got the top again. It's been made in a mesh top fabric, which is just a little bit translucent. And yeah, I have a feeling that this one's going to be quite popular, because you could just lengthen it and make it like a lounge at home, a chill at home top, if you wanted to. The dress has been made into a top over here, simple, straightforward, and we've got like a green animal print chiffony style thing. I'm not sure that this whole exposed panel thing works when you're using a slightly drapier fabric, but I'd need to see how this is interpreted in the Burda community to get a better idea of it. And then, oh, that skirt again. So when we first saw it, it was made in a linen mixed fabric, so it was able to hold the structure. So it was holding those pleats. This one is a bit more drapier, so it's giving it a straighter silhouette. So I feel like this, you could easily find yourself making loads and loads of these, playing around with the different lengths if you wanted to, and create different, dramatically different looks, because this looks, it looks so lovely, and it's green. I'm just like, oh, beautiful. Okay, and then we have this jacket again, but this time it's been lengthened. Remember the first time we saw it, it was cropped to hip, no, just between hip and waist length, but this time it's been lengthened to mid thigh, and it becomes a layering piece. And it's really, really lovely to look at. But again, when we look at it on the model, for me, it still has that problem of needing the cuff. It has the problem of needing the cuff, because here it's just sort of like open, which doesn't match up with the fact that the neckline closes up, and then you've got the drawstring at the hem, which allows it to close up. So in terms of design congruency, this should also have the option of closing up, but that's just kind of like how I think. I love the textured fabric that they used. It's got like these little tufts hanging out, and it's a lightweight fabric. You can tell from the way that it is draping. Make this in indigo chambray fabric or in indigo, lightweight indigo denim, and this would be a really nice layering piece for spring and summer. Okay, just waxing lyrical about that. And then here we've got that top again with the drawstring detail, which you can see a little bit better on here. I'm not a big fan of the double drawstring personally, because I think that just the one drawstring will do the job that needs to be done. Or even without the drawstring, you've got a really nice shape for a t-shirt, because it does have a boat neckline over there. And then we've got the shawl collar. Top turning up again. This time it's been made in a cotton viscose, so lovely and light. And as I said, this is super elegant, super chic. Another pair of trousers that didn't quite catch my eye. Very simple trousers with a fly front, and it's got some little side vents over here. Lovely fabric that they have used, but this one doesn't really sing to me, not like the other wide leg trousers do. Here we have a really stunning interpretation of that blazer jacket that we started off with. It's a beautiful cotton sateen green fabric that they have used, emerald green, the color of optimism, and you can see all of the beautiful details and how those tie belts work really well when you use the right fabric for it. Beautiful. I really think that this one's going to be quite a popular one. Another featured sewing lesson is the dress with all of the tiers. And then we move on to the plus size section, the Burda Plus. And I have to say, heads off, this has been one of the most amazing one in recent months. So first off, we've got this really beautiful detailed kimono sleeve type wrap dress, and this is just fantastic. It is chock-a-block full of wonderful features. So first of all, it's a wrap dress. So wrap dresses are super comfortable, and you can make them as fitted as you want to. And then we've got the cuff sleeves that's added on there, and there's just something so beautiful and classy about a cuff. Bust that's for shaping, and then we've got a little collar, just a little collar that pops up over here. Of course, you can remove the collar if you wanted to. And then we've got the band, the banded waist, and inseam pockets here along the princess seam skirt lines, and it gives it like this really beautiful flare. I think that this is such a beautiful pattern. Really, really liked this. This really caught my eye, and great interpretation here on the thing with the fabric that they have chosen to use. And then the next one is a really lovely sporty looking dress. It just reminds me of the tennis dresses that we used to wear when I used to play tennis back in the day when I was a kid. But it's got princess seam lines, and princess seam lines are so incredibly flattering and easy to fit because you've got all of these points to take it in if you need to, or to take it out, so that it really does become form-fitting. And this style is form-fitting. And then we just add a little bit of sassiness by having these peekaboo straps over here, and it's a V-neck line. Excellent. Not a big fan of the fabric that they have used, but I think that this is an excellent it's a really lovely dress. It's got a great shape and is versatile. You make this in a floral cotton sateen, it looks completely different and something nice. Or you can make this into your little black dress by using a black fabric. And you could also make this out of ponte as well if you wanted it to be more form-fitting. So I thought that this was lovely. And then this one, beautiful color, simple design lines where you want your fabric to sing, and it's got a belt with the bust dots. So yeah, not too much to write home about with this one, but beautiful interpretation here. And again, this is the same dress, but it's been lengthened into a maxi. That point that I was making about beautiful fabric that you just want to allow to shine and sing, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Love this so much. And then we have a lovely dress. I call this a day dress in my mind, but it's got a sheath style in the sense that it is quite form-fitting and it ends at the knee. We've got the patch pockets on the side, and we have a V neckline with a center front seam line and some bust dots, and we have shoulder dots at the back for the shaping. Beautiful. And again, they've used like a really beautiful tencel fabric, so it's quite shiny. I have sewn with fabric just like this, and it is absolutely gorgeous. Soft to the touch, really shiny with a lovely sheen to it, but the deepest, most beautiful blue ever. And I am glad that they didn't go with mustard top stitching. Normally I'm a big fan of blue with mustard top stitching, but I think that it worked really, really well here. And so the next one that we have is another wonderful interpretation of that kimono sleeve style, wrap style dress, but this time with the cuffs, we've added loads of top stitching. And you know what, it sounds very simple, oh, you just add some top stitching, but it can make such a difference to how a garment looks when you add the rows of top stitching. I did something similar on my sculptural bucket coat, and it's one of the best features of the coat, the fact that I did it over the collar, where I just went with top stitching lines that were spaced about a quarter inch apart, and it just looks so beautiful and nice. And as you can see here, it adds a certain je ne sais quoi, a little vavavoom. Beautiful color fabric. It's a cotton sateen, and you can see how there's so many options with that. You know, remove the collar, make the collar a little bit smaller if you want to. You could, if you wanted to, if you're so inclined, add a flounce over here, or you could just lengthen it to make it longer. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I was very impressed with that section. And then we have a lovely sheath dress with some pleating at the side. It's got some shaping in the form of fisheye dots at the back, and we've got some bust dots over here, and there's definitely some shaping that's been added into the pleating there. Beautiful. And I think the fabric that they have used is nice for it, and I think you could make this with a ponte as well, and that would give you more room for maneuvering, and it would be super, super comfortable. But yeah, as I said, I think that this section was definitely the highlight of this magazine. And then we've got a simple summer style dress here, shaping with bust dots and shoulder dots, V neckline. It is a variation on the earlier dress that we saw. The simple dress that was sheath style. It's got a very similar top to it. So if we have these side by side, you can see how bust dots, center, V-neck, and all that. And the only thing is we've given a handkerchief hem over here. And you could easily, if you wanted to, you could add pockets to it. But make this in a chiffon, make this in a ponte, and you could create a dramatically different look. So this is what we have with the April issue of Burda Style. Really cute tutorial on how to make face masks. I do have a tutorial on how to do face masks as well on my channel. Hashtag shameless plug. But this has been a really good issue. I think I'm quite happy. I'm very happy because there's definitely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's definitely 6 things, oh, 7 things. There's definitely 6 things that I would make if I had the time to make. There's been a lot of inspiration. There were a lot of things that inspired me to do certain things, to try out certain things. And I like it when a magazine does that. Now it's your turn. Why don't you let me know in the comments box down below, what are you going to be making from this issue? Whether you liked the issue, was this a standout issue for you? As I said, I think that the Burda Plus section was just outstanding this time around in this particular issue. I think that they have some really banging patterns, which I do hope that they will grade them down, and in subsequent issues they will pop up, because Burda does do that a lot. They will take the patterns and they'll grade them up or grade them down for the various sizes. So yeah, let me know in the comments box down below what you're going to be making. I can't at this point make definitive sewing plans because I'm still recuperating and sewing time isn't as much as I would want it to, but this is definitely up there as one of the magazines that hasn't disappointed, that has turned out to give me more than 4 items that I would like to make. Until I see you next time, guys, if you haven't already, then please do subscribe. I do put out content very, very regularly, and it's all sewing content. And have a lovely day and happy sewing. Bye.